quiet day in the futures markets today, at least in the markets I trade. So let's just jump right in and we'll do a quick review. So good afternoon, everyone. Futures Brizio here, 1:30 p.m. on Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Hope everybody's having a great day. And like I said, things are, a little quiet, at least for me. I took two trades today. One was a complete break even, which I'll show you, and the other one was a loss in soybean oil. And so that's just the way it goes. So anyways, I'll show you those, but let's just start at the top here. And we'll look at rice first. And rice did actually go down and make a new low today. So I updated our swing here, and this thing just continues to go lower. But as I've been saying, we are coming into a pretty strong area of support here. But really, it's between about where it is now down to about $9.30 or 40 cents here. So we certainly could come lower, but again, these are not all-time lows. We really scroll out, like I said yesterday, we do have more lows back here. You can see here back in 2005, 2002. So you got to go way back for those 23 years. So, but this area right here, you can see is again between about $10 and $9.30 or so. Seems to be a pretty big floor where prices tend to bounce from. So again, it doesn't mean it can't go lower. But I've just been hesitant to take shorts here. I've taken a couple of trades, but I've just been hesitant to take these just based on the area in which it's in. But obviously, this would have been a good trade. Yesterday, we were talking about I had this zone drawn out, and we did break that today. We broke that zone here around 11:30 a.m. candle, so a couple of hours ago. We did break to new lows. But the other thing is, honestly, guys, I don't like to really take trades in these markets, especially these ag markets, after about 11 a.m., 11:30 maybe, because they close early, and usually what happens is you'll get a spike down, and then that'll be it. And you can see that's pretty much what's happened here. We did get a big candle down, and then we just started going sideways, and we're probably going to end up just closing here off these lows. And so, again, it's not that you couldn't have taken this, but it would have been a little bit tough. And we broke structure here, so maybe you could have gone short right here. This is the 5-minute chart and taken it down. But, if you didn't close at the bottom of this candle and, you were still in it, I mean, this would have been your trade just from here to here, which, it's a big candle, but this is only a 5-minute chart. And if you had held this, if you were still in it, you would have given back, half of this candle already heading into the close here. So between here and the breakout area is not very big. Again, this is only a 5-minute chart. So that's just why, I didn't take it. To be honest, after about 11:30, I'm not, unless I'm in an active trade, I really don't even spend a lot of time looking because there's probably nothing I'm going to take anyways. And so I did not. So I'm just going to continue to watch this one as it comes down through this area. It's broken kind of this first little layer of support here around, you can see my cursor here, around, around the $10 mark. We've kind of just broken that, or sitting at that now. So again, the next target down here would be between about 975 and 940 or so. 940 is probably a tighter margin. So then we'll see after that. Now, even if we only get a short-term bounce, this is a weekly chart. This could be, a big bounce to the upside. So honestly, that's what I'm kind of waiting for. I just not comfortable trading into these major zones. Not that it can't go lower, like I said. And if we take out this area around 940, 930, then, my bias probably would shift lower, and head back down towards these, 2005 levels. But I think that's probably a stretch for it to get down that low again, just with, inflationary reasons and, supply. So that was 20 years ago. So, I mean, it's not that it can't happen, but it's not anything I think is a likely possibility, but you never know. So that's why I'm just kind of waiting here, and we'll see what happens over the next few sessions as it continues to poke down. If not, we'll start to look for, upward price shifts. But if we look at the hourly chart, we haven't really broken any big structure levels. So, until we do, then then it's the downtrend is still in place. So, this is kind of how I see it now. This may be our recent swing, something like that. If not, then this one up here. But if we do get a shift higher on the weekly chart, either one of these zones would be, an area to look at for a change in direction. So, all right. On to soybeans. Again, we'll jump out a little bit here. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, so as you can see here, kind of the same thing, although just a much shorter time frame. From about where price is now down to a little bit lower, we have a pretty big support zone. You can see where price is bounced off of here, probably, a half a dozen times at least. So, again, not really too comfortable selling into this zone. For today, again, 11:30, we did have this candle right here that painted and, could have taken a short here. This actually would have been okay. This is a 30-minute chart. So this actually would not have been bad. But you can see I've kind of marked off the 4-hour zone here, which is basically just looking at this support level. There's nothing magic to it. We also have another one sitting, basically about right here. And then there's layers below there. But in the short term, I suppose we could be looking at trading this thing short, at least down to this area. So, obviously not going to happen today. The market's going to be closing shortly. But, coming into tomorrow, if we get another pullback, then, that gives a little bit of breathing room. I might consider a short down to this 4-hour zone. But I'd be looking to tighten it up because the price is going to react off this zone because it has so many times before. It's going to, because everybody else sees it. Doesn't mean it's going to hold it, but it will react off of it. So this, in terms of structure level, if this does continue to make a new low, then this probably becomes our new structure level. It's not that big, but it's still there. And on the 4-hour chart, kind of our major structure level here is sitting way up here. So that's, what I'm looking at here for soybean. So I didn't trade it today, but again, I'm just very hesitant about when I look to the left and I see all this area where price has been bought and picked up, off lows. It's heading into that zone again. And to me, it's not necessarily worth the risk. So, but we'll see what it does tomorrow. So on soybean oil, let's zoom down a little bit here. I took this long, and I took the long because we have this 4-hour zone right here, and it looked like it was going to bounce right off this, so I took a long. I didn't get a lot of really good confirmation on it, so it was a little bit risky. But I took it because on the 5-minute chart, we had put in this higher low right here, and then price went up, and that's where I jumped in. You can see I had a very, very tight stop loss. It did take me out, and now it's just kind of moving sideways again. I'm still not totally throwing away the possibility that this will turn from here because of looking at this 4-hour zone. As long as price holds above this yellow line here, I think potentially we could still see this thing go higher. Not today. But you can see I got in long and then was stopped out over here pretty tight. See, I got in at 52.09, stopped out at 51.88. So a pretty tight stop loss. but I was okay with that. Again, if price breaks, takes out this level where the yellow line is here, then I think, we'll shoot quite a bit lower. But if it holds from here again tomorrow and we start putting in, higher highs again, I'm going to remove this alert for now. Whoops. If we hold this, that yellow line on the bottom, then that would suggest we'll go higher tomorrow. I mean, we could come down and tag this. You can see there still is a little bit of room between the price and this yellow line, but a lot of times it's not going to come all the way back. You can see the chopping around. This is one of those things we'd have to be on the lookout for a fake break, for a liquidity sweep, for price to come down here, wick through this line, throw a big wick here, and then, suck in all the people, breakout traders to go short, and then it goes higher. So we could see something like that, but it would take a solid close. When I say a solid close, I'm looking like a 1 hour candle or better to close below this line before I would consider this to be violated. So, we could still continue down a little bit, but I would watch for a sweep and a fake breakout here and this thing to go higher. So nothing happening today. You can see it's really just gone sideways since I got stopped out of that trade. It hasn't really done anything since then. So I just took the stop out and that was fine. So, all right, Canadian dollar. So yesterday I was talking about a break. I had a trend line drawn, which I've since deleted. But remember yesterday I had this trend line and I said I was waiting for a break, not only of the trend line, but of this structure right here above the trend line, because a lot of times you get fake breaks. And we did break that trend line today. And we did break this structure level right here, okay? But you can see after that it did nothing because it ran up to this high right here and then just stopped. And that's why I didn't trade it, because it was already, yes, it broke this structure level, but beyond that, it came back up to this high right here. So again, it doesn't mean it's going to reverse off of here. But I'm not going to trade it at the highs because it's going to have a reaction off this high. You can see there was a lot of selling at this level before with this big wick over here. So what I'm looking for now is, if it's going to go higher, I'm looking for a clean break above this high and then, a move higher. Like I said, even though we took out this structure, there was no way I was going to trade that sitting at this high. If there was no real close by swing high like this, I probably would have thought about getting in long, but you can see if I had, I'd basically be sitting at break even. So I'm glad I didn't take it. So now this becomes our structure level. This is the 4 hour chart. So as long as now price holds above this level, then, I'm still bullish on this. Sorry to cough, guys. I'm just getting over a cold, so still got a little bit of cough. So what I'd expect now again is, some sort of reaction off this high and, some sort of pullback. It might not even break this low right here. And then if the uptrend's going to continue, then, it'll go from there. So that's obviously probably not going to happen during the regular session today. This market stays open till the end of the day, but again, I just don't trade in the afternoon like that. All right. So that's Canadian dollar, kind of watching it, but no trade today. Soybean meal pretty much did what I showed yesterday, although I didn't trade it. And again, it's for the same reason, is we've got this 4 hour low it's come into right here. And this one I probably could have taken because, but let's see where the open was. So the open today was down here at this low. Here was the open, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I wasn't going to, certainly wasn't going to trade it at this low. And then price rallied back. And then around 11:30, again, like soybeans, we threw this little wick and we came back down to the daily low. But again, you can see price is definitely getting hung up at this 4 hour low. So again, doesn't mean it can't break below here. But, obviously this area is being seen as kind of a backstop, off of this previous swing low that went up, made these highs. If it does break through there, then, the next probably, kind of layer of real support is probably sitting like right here or so. Again, I'll see what happens tomorrow. Again, if we get a clean break, below these lows of the day today, on, again, say a 30-minute, 1-hour candle or better, then, I might be looking for a sell at least down to this next level right in here. This obviously has a long way to fall. If it gets through here, because this looks like a little bit of a trap zone to me right here, but maybe not, because it's already been tested. Broke out, came back, tested it actually twice. So it might not be anything, but this could, potentially fall quite a ways. So I'm not saying that this is not going to just continue to be a bear market, but again, it's just sitting at a spot where, there's a lot of push and pull between buyers and sellers right now. And right now, nobody is really winning. It's just, we had a little move down, but we essentially just are back to where we started the session. And so that's, to me, that's not good. But we did actually do what I drew these arrows yesterday. If you watch yesterday's video, these are the arrows I drew yesterday. And we did do that. The only problem is this happened at 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, and I wasn't on the charts at 3 or 4 a.m. So this actually was the trade, was right in here during the London session, the overnight session. But I wasn't on it, So unfortunately, that was the trade. You could have, gotten in here and then back to the lows. But again, that didn't happen because I wasn't trading then. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So I'm looking for setups during my session. If I don't get them, I'm not taking it. So, okay. And then corn, again, we still have not filled this massive gap, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. Like I said yesterday, gaps don't always get filled in a timely manner. Yes, eventually they'll be filled because somewhere down the line, months or a year from now or whatever, price will go lower and it will fill in this gap, okay? But when we're talking about filling in a gap, we're talking about short term. Like this gap was made on Sunday when the market opened Sunday night. So, if sometime in the next week or so price breaks lower, if we get below this low, then it probably will come down and try to fill this gap. But you can see again, just beating a dead horse, we're sitting at major support right here on the 4-hour, the 1-hour chart, and it's 4-hour structure too. But so you have to respect the fact that we did make a new high here and they've pulled back. So again, if we get below here, then I would look for a potential gap fill back to here. But if we, start breaking higher, let's, this is a 15-minute chart. Let's say we get, maybe a little bit above this zone right here, and then we'll probably, run up and potentially make new highs, or at least go back towards this high right here. Okay. So again, just sitting in a spot where I'm not comfortable trading it. And that's that. So, but it does have potential to be a good trade if you get the right signal, whether it bounces off of here and goes higher, or whether we break out to the downside, nice and strong, and we get, not just a big wick or a short time frame candle here, but a nice definitive kind of medium time frame candle to throw through here. And then, like I said, at that point, a trade down to, try to fill this gap would probably be a good target. So, okay, last thing is hogs. And you can see on hogs, I was thinking, and again, I drew these yesterday, just, thinking that price it looked like it was trying to go lower. Although we did have kind of we have had a bit of an uptrend here. We kind of took out this structure on the 4-hour chart, but we still have major structure sitting up here on the 4-hour. We still have this major structure sitting here. But on the shorter time frame, it looked like it was going to maybe bounce off this little minor structure and go lower. That's what these arrows that I drew. I'm going to take these off just to not crowd up the chart too much. We'll take both of these off. I want to get rid of all my lines. And you can see I did take a short, but I got out of it at exactly break even. I got in at 80.5, got out at 80.5. So it was a zero trade other than the commission I'll have to pay. So which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. And you can see prices now come back to this zone. And maybe this is the bounce, right? Pulled away, came back. Maybe this is the bounce to make this go lower. I don't know. Let me take this one off too. And we'll look at this resistance zone. And so we'll see. Again, this market's going to close shortly, so I'm not looking to trade it now, but maybe tomorrow we'll see. Maybe I'll take another stab at this short tomorrow because it still looks pretty bearish, at least in the short term. You know, price was not able to make a new high. We came down here through this huge wick, failed above this high, came back. Yes, it did make a new high, but it closed well behind it. So the sellers were definitely taking over. And then we kind of drifted. Now we've come back to this area again. And so again, I think we would have to clear this congestion zone to go higher, potentially back towards this high. But if this holds, then, you know, we could get another short-term run down. Maybe a good target would be back here around this little breakout, which was a breakout of some previous resistance, which now be acting like support if you look left here. So, again, I'm not going to trade it today. Market's closing soon. But this is, you know, maybe something to look at tomorrow. And again, you know, for maybe something back to this area here to the downside, which would be a good trade. And it might not even do that in one day, depending how aggressive it is. So, all right. So, yeah, that's what it looked like today, guys. Pretty quiet. Not really, obviously not a winning day for me, but like I said, you're not going to get those every day. And the other markets, I just didn't feel comfortable trading them based on where they were sitting throughout the session today. And, you know, those are the kind of decisions you have to make. And sometimes you're going to miss trades because they end up breaking out anyways, even though it didn't look like it would. Like soybean meal maybe would have been a trade today, but even that, most of that move happened early on in the session. So when I wasn't on the charts anyway. So that's what happens a lot of times, right? You get these little tiny bounces and then price moves and then it just stalls out because of the time. And again, these markets close at like 2:20, 2:30, which is in another half an hour or so. And like I said, usually after about 11 a.m., most of what comes after that is going to be very short-lived. And if you are going to trade it, you need to be probably thinking about, you know, scalping in and out pretty quick. And I just rather just, you know, be able to get in, hold the trade for the whole session, potentially, you know, overnight too. But at least I want to be able to hold it for at least a few hours and not just have it be like 1 5-minute candle and then the move's over. That to me, that's the, you know, the juice is not worth the squeeze on that. You know, the risk is, to me, is not worth it. And, you know, paying the commission and everything to get in and out on such a quick move. So, all right. So that's how I see it for today. So that's it, guys. I'm going to leave it there. Hope that was helpful. Hope everybody has a good rest of your day. Be back tomorrow and we'll see how we make out with some of these. All right. Take care. Make sure you smash that like button on your way out, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Thanks.